Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. You know the drill. If you like what you hear, subscribe to our show. If you really like what you hear, write a review. All right, so now let's get into some music news. The Super Bowl just passed, but this was recorded before the Super Bowl. So I'm assuming we had a chance to see the fruit of rapper and Roc Nation mogul Jay-Z's labor. Jay acts as the NFL's league's live music entertainment strategist. So this year's halftime show in Miami starred Roc Nation client Shakira with Jennifer Lopez and special guests J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and J-Lo's 11-year-old daughter M. Jay also oversees the NFL's social justice initiative, Inspire Change is what it's called. So as part of the deal, Roc Nation asked the NFL to spend $100 million on social justice outreach and causes throughout the next decade. During Sunday's Super Bowl, the league sponsored the broadcast of public service video as part of the series that shows the stories of black men killed by police. Like I said, this was recorded before the Super Bowl, so I'm assuming that actually happened. So, man, Harry Styles fans were disappointed the Friday before the Super Bowl. There was a pre-Super Bowl concert in Miami that kicked off with a DJ set from Mark Ronson at 9:15 p.m., a special performance by Lizzo at 10 p.m., and while fans were rushing to the stage to see Harry Styles perform at midnight, the event organizers, who were ordered by Miami police and fire departments, canceled the show due to a severe storm approaching. It's reported that fans were legit crying in the stands. Migos rapper Offset has been busy. On Wednesday, he was detained at LA shopping center The Grove. He was released from jail after a few hours, telling TMZ that cops mistook him for the wrong guy. 2 men in Offset's group were ultimately booked on firearms charges. Then during Super Bowl weekend in Miami, he beat the tail out of a guy who sprayed his wife, Cardi B, with champagne. Now, according to TMZ, Cardi wasn't happy after getting wet, and an enraged Offset immediately began looking for the culprit before jumping into the crowd. Now, once he spotted him, he landed a punch and kept throwing punches until he was pulled away by security. He and Cardi then promptly left the club. Now, last Friday, Kobe Bryant was honored during the Lakers versus Portland Trailblazers game at the Staples Center. During halftime, a heartfelt performance of See You Again by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth was delivered. Charlie played a grand piano while Wiz Khalifa flowed over the keys. Now, that particular song reminded me of the passing of actor Paul Walker, how impactful that song was when it played during the credits of Paul's final performance in one of the Fast and Furious movies. I can't remember the name of it because there's been so many of them. But that was like 2-3 Fast and Furiouses ago. So as fans and consumers, I think that we often take celebrities for granted and forget that they are human. We forget that their lives can be taken away just like ours. Now, Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist Flea shared some heartfelt memories about the basketball player during the pregame show. Usher performed Amazing Grace, Boyz II Men sang the national anthem, and LeBron James gave an emotional speech. Andy Gill, a founding member and guitarist for the British pop Andy Gill, a founding member and guitarist for the British post-punk band Gang of Four, has died at the age of 64. System of a Down, Korn, Helmet, and Faith No More each posted an illustration of an astronaut floating alone in space, attached to nothing. They posted this on Instagram Friday, January 31st. The caption on all four said, just Monday, just a simple Monday. So what the heck are the four bands teasing? Could it be a tour? We will soon find out, hopefully. On Friday, January 31st, the estate of David Bowie released a 1997 recording of Baby Universal. The track originally appeared on the 1991 album Tin Machine 2 and is the latest offering from Bowie's posthumous Is It Any Wonder EP. Is It Any Wonder features 6 Bowie recordings from the 1990s released in weekly installments. Is It Any Wonder features 6 Bowie recordings from the 1990s released in weekly installments. So far, we've heard new renditions of The Man Who Sold the World, I Can't Read, and Stay, all of which arrive in physical formats on April 18th, aka Record Store Day. I didn't know that was a thing, so dope for April 18th. The EP was announced on what would have been Bowie's 73rd birthday following his death in January of 2016. Now, Taylor Swift's Miss Americana doc on Netflix is out. The doc includes footage from numerous interviews and television segments that take aim at Swift over the course of her career. In one of those conversations, comedian Nikki Glaser makes a comment about Swift's weight. She's too skinny, and her model friends. Now that the movie is out, Glaser has taken to Instagram to apologize to Swift and explain why this is such an insanely ironic situation, considering how much she adores Swift and her music. The comedian says, this quote should be used as an example of projection in Psych 101 textbooks. She wrote this alongside a photo of herself in a well-worn Swift tee. If you're familiar with my work at all, you know I talk openly about battling some kind of eating disorder for the past 17 years. I was probably feeling fat that day and was jealous. Also, I've had people say that same shit about me being too skinny before and know how terrible it feels to hear that when you're struggling. I know how terrible it feels. So I've had people say that same shit about me being too skinny before and know how terrible it feels to hear that when you're struggling. And I was only bothered by her model friends because I'd like to be her friend and I'm not a model. I really have no need to post this other than to apologize to someone who seriously means so much to me. Swift commented and graciously accepted Glaser's apology and referred to the heart of Miss Americana. One of the major themes about the doc is that we have the ability to change our opinions over time, to grow, to learn about ourselves. I'm sorry to hear that you've struggled with some of the same things I've struggled with. Sending massive hugs. So let's take a break and return with new releases and what's hot globally.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. All right, let's get into these new album releases. Lil Wayne, The Funeral, Kesha, Rainbow, Meghan Trainor, Treat Myself, Louis Tomlinson, Walls, Yo Gotti, Untrapped, K. Michelle, All Monsters Are Human, Luke James, To Feel Loved, Destroyer, Have We Met, and Drive-By Truckers, The Unraveling. New singles include Dua Lipa, Physical, Demi Lovato's Anyone, Taylor Swift, Only the Young, Lil Nas X, Rodeo Remix featuring Nas, Justin Bieber featuring Kehlani, Get Me, loving that smooth, sexy R&B song about chemistry. And Kehlani kills her feature. Meek Mill, Letter to Nipsey, that song pulls at my heartstrings. Russ featuring Rick Ross, Guess What? Orville Peck, Dead of Night. Gorillaz, Momentary Bliss. Now, London singer, writer, rapper, and model Jay Huss scores his first UK #1 album with his sophomore release of Big Conspiracy, which dropped January 24th, so the week before last. Janae Akeo's third album, Chilumbo, comes out in February 2020. Reads a pop-up bubble at the very end of her P Fairy. If you ain't heard the song, I'm saying P, but it ain't P. I'm saying I'm trying to be good here because this ain't the sex podcast. So just think, sex podcast, P. What does P stand for? Yeah. So P Fairy music video. At the very end of it, there's a pop-up that says Chilumbo comes out February 2020. And it turns out that Chilumbo is Janae's real last name. So hopefully I pronounced that properly. Now on to tours and festival news. Miranda Lambert canceled 2 concerts on her Wildcard tour. The country singer first canceled Friday night's January 31st show at the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City, Utah, followed by Saturday's February 1st performance at the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Miranda posted on IG, "I've been doing everything in my power to be 100%, but my voice is just not there. Not even close. I'm so sorry to let everyone down. Since I'm not well, we thought it would be better to come back and give y'all the best show we can." The Salt Lake City stop has been postponed until February 25th, and Denver has been rescheduled for March 2nd. Tickets from the original concert dates will be honored. Lambert is currently scheduled to resume her tour at the Sprint Center in Kansas City, Missouri on February 6th. Hopefully her voice will be back to 100 by then. Now, country singer Callie Shore kicked off her first headlining tour on Friday evening, January 31st at Nashville's Exit Inn. Now on to the top 10 songs played in the United States. According to Apple Music. Still at number 1 is Roddy Ricch's The Box. Still at number 2 is Future and Drake, Life is Good. Number 3, Lil Wayne makes a few appearances on this list with his new release of Funeral. So number 3 is I Do It featuring Big Sean and Lil Baby. That is one of my favorites from the album. With Lil Wayne's recent release, Roddy Ricch's High Fashion has dropped from number 3 to number 4. Number 5, Lil Wayne Mahogany. Number 6, Lil Wayne Funeral. Number 7, Lil Wayne Mamma Mia. Told you he makes a few appearances. Okay, a few was 3 plus more. So yeah, a few appearances. Number 8, Lil Baby's Something to Prove. Number 9, Mustard Ballin' featuring Roddy Ricch. And number 10, Eminem barely made the list with Godzilla featuring Juice WRLD. Now let's compare that to the top 10 songs played globally according to Apple Music. The top 4 is exactly like in the US with Roddy Ricch and Future and Drake and Lil Wayne. Again, Roddy Ricch at number 4 with High Fashion. But the number 5 spot is still occupied by Tones and I, Dance Monkey. Number 6, Eminem Godzilla. Number 7, The Weeknd Blinding Lights. And sorry, Billie Eilish, Lil Wayne took your number 8 spot with Mahogany. Number 9, Justin Bieber kicked Lil Baby out the top 10 with Yummy. And number 10, Lil Wayne's Funeral. Alright, so what have I been jamming? I'm still working my way through Lil Wayne's Funeral, but so far I'm loving it. For those who may have forgotten or didn't know that Lil Wayne is the GOAT of his generation, Funeral is a reminder. I have to agree with Apple's most played list on my standout songs, at least the most played list in America. When it comes to my standout songs, a lot of those songs were on the list. Like Mahogany was a nice way to start the project. The beat has this smooth neo-soul vibe. And his flow is like, I'm gonna show you who I am, but this is a precursor to me going off on Mamma Mia. Then Mamma Mia follows up, and Wayne TKOs it. He goes in, and the beat is fire. I do it with Big Sean, and Lil Baby showcases their talents as well. I keep becoming more and more of a Big Sean fan with time, and I enjoyed his feature. The slower tracks I enjoyed were Trust Nobody with Adam Levine. That feature was, I was pleasantly surprised to hear Adam's voice. I was listening, I was like, wait, that's Adam. Get Out of My Head with XXX Tentacion. I always struggle with his name, but that track has this dark and twisted sound, but with XX on it, like, it was befitting. The overall album is 24 tracks and it's 1 hour and 16 minutes long, so I'm still working my way through that. I have never been a Kesha fan. I was never a hater, never hated on Kesha. She had some jams back in the day, but I just remember her coming up behind Lady Gaga, so she seemed like another gimmick to me. But when she dropped that Praying video a few years back, I was like, much respect to Kesha. So I hit play on this high road just out of curiosity and found myself digging most of the album. It starts with Tonight, a fun high tempo, just reminiscent of the old TikTok song. Then the dance tracks continue with My Own Dance, the single Raising Hell, which is good. I really like the video. I think the video makes the song even better once you see it. She has some great ballads, Shadow and the country vibes on Cowboy Blues and Resentment featuring Brian Wilson, Sturgill Simpson, and Rabble. I like the other track featuring Rabble, BFF. Apparently he is her best friend and she made a cool ode to their friendship song. Father-daughter dance pulls at my This Is Us heartstrings. She sings about never knowing her dad, and I learned a lot about Kesha throughout the album. She reveals herself, and as a first-time listener of an entire project of hers, I appreciated that. And it made me appreciate her more. I haven't had time to listen to too much more other than Lil Wayne and Kesha. So we're going to take a break and return with music history featuring Andy Gill.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. So I reported earlier that Andy Gill passed away. I honestly don't know who he is. So I thought it would be perfect to feature him in this music history segment. Andrew James Dalrymple, spelled it's spelled Dalrymple. So my apologies on the mispronunciation of his last name, but it's a good thing he goes by Andy Gill. So Andy Gill was born January 1st, 1956 in Manchester, England. He's a founding member and guitarist for the English rock group Gang of Four. Gill is known for his jagged style of guitar. Gill has been with Gang of Four since their inception in 1976. The band was formed in the Yorkshire city of Leeds after Gill met fellow founder John King at Leeds University. King and Gill spent time in New York City together in 1976, becoming friends with members of Television and Patti Smith's band. The band's 1979 album, Entertainment, was included on the Rolling Stones magazine's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. Gill co-produced all of Gang of Four's albums and also worked as a producer on albums by Red Hot Chili Peppers. He produced their debut album, The Futureheads, and The Stranglers. Gill passed away February 1st, 2020 at 64 years old. His band posted a statement. This is only a piece of that statement. Our great friend and supreme leader has died today. His uncompromising artistic vision and commitment to the cause meant that he was still listening to mixes for the upcoming record whilst planning the next tour from his hospital bed. His final tour in November was the only way he was ever really going to bow out. With a Stratocaster around his neck, screaming with feedback and deafening the front row. Rest in peace, sir. So instead of our usual Say What song lyric, I found an article on Spin entitled 35 Best Breakup Songs Ever. I thought it would be fun to go through the list since Valentine's Day is approaching. I guess that's just my sick humor. But hey, if you need to break up with someone, this is like a good time so you don't have to spend money and everything, or like the most romantic day on the calendar year with them. And maybe you can play one of these songs that we're going to go through. So the first song we're going to start with in this episode is Erykah Badu's 1997 hit, Tyrone. The lyrics read, this is her speaking first before she actually gets into the song. I'ma test this out right quick on y'all. Now keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. So y'all be nice about it. All right? All right, so this is me talking again. So I remembered when she debuted this at a live show and that was being recorded. So, recorded by video. So there are folks like myself who saw her experiment with this song for the first time on TV. And as an artist, I love using the line about being sensitive about my ish. Now back to the song. And my apologies, I'm probably going to slip in and out of singing the song because the rhythm has been stuck in my head since 1997. And if you don't know already, like, this is one of my favorite songs. So here we go. She's still talking right here. Sisters, how y'all feel? Brothers, how y'all? All right. Let me see how y'all groove to this. And then she gets into the song. I'm getting tired of your shit. You don't ever buy me nothing. See, every time you come around, you got to bring Jim, James, Paul, and Tyrone. See, there I go slipping in. See, why can't we be ourselves sometimes? See, I've been having this on my mind for a long time. I just want it to be you and me like it used to be, baby, but you don't know how to act. So matter of fact, I think you better call Tyrone. Call them. You gotta get that chorus in. Call them. And tell him, come on, help you get your shit. Come on, come on, come on. You need to call Tyrone. Call him. And tell him I said, come on. Now, every time I ask you for a little cash, you say no and turn right around and ask me for some ass. Oh, well, hold up, listen, partner, I ain't no cheap thrill. 'Cause Miss Badu is always coming for real. You know the deal. I ain't gonna say that word, but it's an N word. Every time we go somewhere, I gotta reach down in my purse to pay your way and your homeboy's way and sometimes your cousin's way. They don't never have to pay, don't have no cars, hang around in bars trying to hang around the stars. Like Badu, I'ma tell you the truth. Showing groove or get the boot. All right, this is me talking again. I found these lyrics online. I thought the line was show and improve or get the boot, which makes more sense to me than showing groove or get the boot. So let's say my version. Show and improve or get the boot. I think you better call him and tell him, come on, help you get your shit. You need to call Tyrone. Call him. Hold on. But you can't use my phone. That can't use my phone line put the nail in the coffin for homie right there. Now, apparently Erykah Badu made up the song on the spot during a London performance. She must have had a really crappy dude in her life at the time to improv those lyrics, those classic lyrics on top of that. Folks still reference this song when it comes to low-life dudes. Definitely the best get 'em girl breakup song ever. And it's a great karaoke song too. That's one of my favorites if you couldn't tell. So if you have a low life you want to get rid of, but you can't find the words, just play this song. All right, so as always, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to listen to this music podcast. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us. And if you really, 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 really liked what you heard, write a review. Until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.